Alright, this particular problem is going to be using StatCrunch to calculate the t-score and the p-value. The problem is 7.3.35 from the Larson Elementary Statistics textbook, Picturing the World, 5th edition. The problem: to test the claim that the mean credit card debt for individuals is greater than $4,800, you do some research and find that a random sample of 6 cardholders has a mean credit card balance of $5,226 with a standard deviation of $647. You conduct a statistical experiment where the null hypothesis, H naught, reads the mean is less than or equal to $4,800, and the alternative hypothesis, H sub A, is stated as the mean is greater than $4,800. At a significance level of alpha equals 0.05, explain why you cannot reject H naught. Assume the population is normally distributed. In other words, we're going to test a given hypothesis below. This says use technology to create the standardized test statistic, and we are going to use StatCrunch, which comes bundled with MyStatLab. So what you want to do is, once you have StatCrunch up and running, you want to left-click Stat, and we're going to come down here to T-Statistics. Since we are looking at a sample size of 6 cardholders, we're going to highlight one sample, and then we're going to highlight with summary, and we are going to left-click that. So then we're going to type in our sample mean, which in this case was $5,226. Type in the sample standard deviation, which is $647. Our sample size of 6. We're going to type in our hypothesis test for the mean, and we're going to type that in as 4800. And down here we're going to set it as greater than, because our alternative hypothesis is going to be greater than $4,800. And then we simply left-click Compute. Once we left-click that, we are given this resulting window telling us that the sample mean is $5,226 with a standard error. Degrees of freedom is 5. Our t-stat is 1.6128016, and the p-value is 0.0839. You will then enter that into MyStatLab and answer the question. So this may not show up very well in the video, but in MyStatLab, where it says t equals, understand that it says round to 2 decimal places as needed, so we'll left click in the answer field and we will type in 1.61. Press enter. We got it correct, so we'll move on. Press enter, and it says use technology to create or calculate the p-value. In this case, the p-value is going to be rounded to 3 decimal places. Our original p-value was 0.0839 as calculated in StatCrunch. So what we're going to do is round that to 0.084. Press enter. We did a great job. And now we go to answer the rest of the question. So, explain why the null hypothesis cannot be rejected. And of the 4 possible answers, the first one is the correct answer. H naught is not rejected because the p-value is greater than the significance level. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that the mean credit card debt is greater than $4,800.